Hello and welcome to Sim.PC, where it right now is 1921 in the very late evening. Yes, indeed it is. And I have just spent the most beautiful hour just watching a gameplay video of the new God of War game. And can I say this enough? It looks beautiful. I know it's not a game for everybody out there, right? I mean, it's a mature game, it's for a mature audience, but God, does it look amazing? No pun intended, or maybe intended. You know what? It doesn't really matter. I can highly recommend at least go checking someone out who's playing the game, because oh my days, all the different nuances, especially for someone like me who actually played the games when they were current, when they were coming out, even though they're rating plus, but matters less. Anyway, let's stray away from that as fast as we can and get into today's most vibrant discussion, because today we're going to talk about something that I have not remembered. I actually forgot, so I'm just going to check my notes here for a while. Yes, so just bear with me for a bit of a second as I see that today's most enlightening discussion will be about... It's nice to be on YouTube because you get a great understanding of how everything works. I guess that's as good of a discussion topic as any, am I right? Well, I think that the point that past me was trying to convey was either bite me, yeah, why are you putting this stress on yourself? Something along those lines, and trying to, you know, put the sheps in the wheels for me here, put sticks in my wheels. Or it might have been the case that it's actually kind of an interesting discussion, bringing up a new kind of perspective to many people that they didn't really have before. Not that I'm going to tell you everything about there is about to know about... wow. Not that I'm going to tell you about everything there is to know about, yeah, that's how you say it, about YouTube. No. But the entire idea that you're getting the form of an understanding of something that you do like. Now, just to put this into context, right? I am someone who spent my last, what should we say, when was it that my brother suggested YouTube and I said that it was a stupid form of media, as I was, you know, sitting and flicking through the TV, until I, you know, realized that it's actually amazing and great, and you don't have to have these different commercial breaks, or at least you didn't in the past, and now you do, but it's like, what, 5 seconds or something like that? 5 to 15 seconds instead of like 10 minutes breaks, and you can actually bring, if you have any form of tablet, you can bring it with you wherever you go. Now, I ain't saying that I'm using this on the loo, but hey, we all kind of do now, don't we? And otherwise, you have a phone for that, right? So I don't really remember quite the exact year, but what could it have been? Somewhere around 2012, 2011, I would like to say. I think that's when I was moving away from my mom and home to my dad, and didn't watch as much telly as I used to. Instead, I was switching over to YouTube, as my brother had told me, for like X amount of years. What was it at that point? Like, what? 5 or 6 years, being like, oh, YouTube is amazing, and you know, I'm like, is it though? And he's like, yeah, it's really cool, and I'm like, is it though? And then I started watching YouTube, and of course, like everyone who is picking something up after someone else has recommended it, I went to my kid brother and I was just like, you know what? YouTube is amazing, and he's like, told you so. But I still, you know, went on about it as if it was my original idea, because that's what you tend to do, now doesn't you? Unfortunately, or you do in the past and then you learn from your mistakes and then you become more humble as a person in the future. Matters less. Anyway, for someone like me who has been spending a lot of my quality personal time on YouTube, not uploading stuff, or at least, well, you know, there's been some failed attempts in the past, but not that I've uploaded stuff, but just consumed a ridiculous amount of my, you know, media intake through YouTube, my you know, my entertainment content through YouTube. I mean, I've been spending like, what, an average of maybe 5 to 6 hours the latest, well, 5 years on YouTube. So it's cool now that I was skipping forward to what I was actually saying in the beginning, to actually get an understanding of how everything actually works. For instance, you can get the backbone when you're actually uploading videos, see how everything is working in correlation with each other. Now, I know that lots of YouTube videos have a lot to do with different softwares. For instance, there is probably a form of recording software. I'm using Studio One myself, yeah? And you probably have some form of editing program, for instance, then Adobe Premiere, which I still haven't been able to figure out how it works, even though it's supposedly really, really easy. But hey, I'm a man of my movie, what can I say? There are all of those kind of external things that goes into making a YouTube video, and sure, I understand that, right? But when it comes to the actual YouTube platform of how you're uploading things, and see from the beginning and the conception of an idea to me recording something, to editing it and then uploading it to YouTube, see how that entire value chain actually works. Where is the value proposition here? How is the value created? How is the content created? And so on and so forth. And since I am doing this, I have an easier understanding, an easier time of watching someone else on YouTube, watching other people's YouTubes and actually get a sense of entertainment, more sense of entertainment out of it than I did before, which is kind of interesting when you look about it, because usually it's the thing that, if I break it down, the magic disappears, right? I don't want to break it down too much, I don't want to overanalyze this, but for me, it's the complete difference. For instance, this video that I was watching about this new game, just, 5 to 20 minutes ago, I saw the video, and in the past I'd probably think something along the lines with, how easy this must be. They're just playing a video game, they're uploading it online, they do some commentary over it, but there is a great amount of effort being put into it. Now, I haven't done any, gaming stuff, right? So really, who am I to tell? But I can assume that they're going through the same kind of thought process that I do. Sure, they have some form of content that they can react to and play through and interact with in some form of fashion. The game, so to say, where I have the camera and where I used to have the two different camera angles, but now we're just rolling with one for a couple of days, yeah? Makes it easier for me in the editorial process. Future me, yeah, I'm not a bit of a prick as much as past Philip was when he was, passing on this bloody note to me, but I'm thinking about you, mate. But there's so much thought process that probably went into creating that product, to creating that video. And as I said, when you're looking up how you operate on YouTube, let's say the backbone of YouTube, when you see how you actually just upload stuff, that it's not just instantaneously, right? But that you actually have to plan for some of these things. Maybe they have a scheduled playlist because they had pre-early access to the actual game, so that they could release it on the day when it was released, when the release date of the game actually came about. So maybe they have been needing to pre-schedule these things. Maybe they have uploaded everything already. Maybe they haven't. There's stuff like that that's interesting to look at, or at least in my opinion, it is. And of course, this is not just the case for YouTube. There are many people who have it feels a great amount of achievement and a great amount of pleasure in seeing how things they do enjoy gets produced and is working. That's why you have TV programs such as, how does it work and how is it assembled and where it come from and the origin of the pen, or all of these different things. And that's the same kind of accomplishment I feel when I can see a YouTube video and I can clearly identify that, they're probably doing all of these things. They're probably using these tools. This is how they went about this video. I can see the kind of direction that they're moving this in. Yet again, I'm not doing all of the different kinds of videos out there. Not even close. But still, through uploading daily and through actually interacting with the YouTube platform, I'm getting a greater sense of how it actually works all together. Or at least in comparison to what I had before. Now, based on that, some of you might be sitting out there and being like, I know how it works. And I don't even do YouTube videos. Yeah, I know how everything works together. And that's fine, mate. That's all good. That's all dandy. But I didn't. And I'm just gonna say that it's kind of cool to see how it all works together, how it all fits together. It's like when you have a big math equation, yeah? And I know I'm going to align it and draw the conclusion, compare it to the thing that people like the most and love the most, which is basically, maths and school. Imagine when you're having a huge maths equation and everything just turns out the way right. Everything just turns out right. That's how it feels right now. In comparison to before, when I didn't know how everything was fitting together, and it was like, solving an equation with half of the variables, non-existent or undefined, and I was just like, I can get an understanding and a concept of how it all works, but I don't see, like, I can see the full picture, but I don't clearly get the real understanding of how it works, which one can argue that I still don't have, but it's getting better anyway. So keeping to the same analogy, one can say that more of the variables are constant now than they were before. I know everybody loves a good math analogy, don't they? But I'm actually gonna I'm going to rush off. I don't know what it is with me and the English today, yeah? Usually I know I ain't the best, but at least there is some form of personality shining through that just tries to or seems to be able to keep on going with the language, yeah? But today hasn't been one of those days. At least I feel so, yeah, personally. But I'm going to, let's see if I can get it right now, rush out. Yes, there we go, to the gym. I know, Friday feeling. Isn't that right? Getting that Friday vibe at 7:30. Isn't it just the best time to not go to a pre-party but hit the weights instead? Am I right, people? Am I right? Yeah, well, at least it's my own priority. I have chosen this way, yeah? So that's what I'm gonna do. Encourage you all to go out there and enjoy the world and, all of those things. Wow, that's inspirational. And I seen or noticed that I have recently, yesterday and the day before that, ended with something along like, try to shug in with an inspirational quote, or with something funny, or with something to say, which I think in the long run is going to be very hard to sustain. So today I'm taking a stance, people. Either I'm keeping up with this thing and I'll probably horribly, miserably fail in the future, or I just step aside and don't do it today, which will relieve me of a lot of stress and unnecessary thought process. But hey, what would the world be without a bit of thought process shoved in there, yeah? So I'm gonna leave you with this. Rather 2 loaves on the cushion than sunglasses on the ceiling. Yeah? Because that's deep. It's good that I laugh at my own jokes, yeah? Have a nice one, mates, and I'll see you tomorrow at the SNR. Have a nice one.